Hey everybody, it's Will here. Today is May 3rd, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Just chilling at home right now. Yesterday I did do a staycation, so basically got the day off from work, and then I was able to go to the gym, watch Sinners, and then I went to my local independent bookstore. It's actually like a used bookstore, which is fine. I'm able to get a lot of good books for pretty cheap actually, and it was something I really needed. Like I said before, I was working a lot pretty much since the beginning of the year. A lot of overtime, plus the commute, and then also after that, I had family come over too, and then I think that was the reason I got sick. As you can tell right now, I'm feeling a lot better here. Yeah, so definitely the staycation was something I really needed there. Yesterday I wrote over 1,000 words, about 1,113 words, which is really great for me. Anything over 1,000 words, I consider it a good day of writing. And then as of right now, I'm sort of writing all my scenes out of order, mainly because the reason is I would like to keep the momentum going when it comes to writing. I sort of feel like when I get the momentum going, it's a lot easier to write as opposed to like taking a break and then writing. I do understand the importance of taking a break uh, once in a while and writing, but I may or may not be writing that much on the weekdays, just depending how tired I am from work. But I do tend to write a few sentences here and there throughout the day when it on the weekdays, which is better than nothing. But when it comes to Saturday, Sunday, and in this case yesterday, I really try to take advantage of that extra time. So really try to get that 1,000 words in. If I could get any more, that's great. Also doing some research here. So today I plan to try to get 1,000 words here. And I'm kind of continuing on this random scene here. I'm setting it like in book 3. Just because I feel like it's a little more interesting. I might also start kind of rewriting the beginning of book 1, just because I've been thinking a lot lately. I've been trying to figure out how to rewrite book 1 to where I like it. The beginning scenes of book 1, let me clarify there. Lately, I've kind of been thinking about how to set it up. One of the downsides of sort of discovery writing is sometimes it takes a while to rewrite certain things here. So maybe if I feel satisfied with this scene I have in book 3, I might go ahead and see if I could rewrite or rework this opening scenes from book 1 here, just see how that works out. That's the plan for my writing. I also would like to kind of start reading a book here. Let me see if I got it here. This is one of the books I found at the bookstore. I bought at the bookstore, excuse me. I didn't buy it yesterday, but I went there a couple days before. It's simply called Catherine de Medici. Yeah, right there. Yeah, the reason I bought this book is because, for one, I'm very interested in the Renaissance era, and then two, it's a biography about a woman set in a different time frame from today. Find that I have a hard time finding women who are from like a different time period, and I always want to see how they are kind of maneuvering through the political and social aspects of that world that's very different than today's time period. It's a lot easier that now that I'm able to find stuff like the women of the War of the Roses, Anne Boleyn. Let's see, there's Catherine of Aragon that I found is interesting. So kind of picking up this book, I felt like would also help me more in developing more of the female characters here. The book is a high fantasy book, kind of set in like a medieval inspired time. Definitely having like not only like strong, powerful women, but also women being capable of like maneuvering through the social and political aspects of medieval settings would definitely help out a lot here. So that's the plan for today. After I get my 1,000 words, hopefully, crossing my fingers, I'm able to kind of start reading this book here. Alright, y'all, so that's enough talking here. I'm gonna get to writing. I do got my cup of coffee here ready. I really like the message here. Actually, you guys seen it before. Let me turn it this way. Oh, sorry, there's kind of a glare here. It says, sometimes you forget you're awesome, so this is your reminder. Sort of a great way to start my writing session here. So, anyways, I'm going to get to my writing. Alright, so I'm done writing my 1,000 words. It's 1,139 words to be precise. I did happen to write 2 scenes. I finished up that random scene that I was working on, and then I ended up writing an alternate opening, which I thought was a lot better. I wanted my novel series to have multiple viewpoints, and I chose a different male character here to start this viewpoint. He's kind of like one of the primary main characters or a secondary main character. I changed his like relationship from the main character from friend to like brother, just kind of give it a different dynamic. See how that's gonna work out. So far, I kind of like where it's going. I was struggling in the beginning to get the words down, just because I was trying to figure out how the setting was gonna be. But as I continued to type, the words came out a little bit easier. I admit it may take a little bit longer as well, because I was watching the Giants play the Rockies, and we ended up winning 6-3. Chapman hit a grand slam, and I think was the 6th inning, which was really awesome. Yeah, so that might have been one of the reasons why it took a little bit longer too as well. I wasn't zoned in as I wanted to be, but that's okay. I got my 1,000 words in there. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and read that biography about Catherine de Medici. I don't know if I ever said the name right, because I feel like I put an R in there, like Medici instead of de Medici. So I'm not really sure if I'm saying it correctly there. Like, I remember I was watching Assassin's Creed like cutscenes, and it always sounded like they put an R in it, de Medici. So, but I'm not entirely sure if it's Medici or Medici, and I'm just like hearing it wrong. Yeah, just please let me know. See how to correctly pronounce that. But I'm gonna go ahead and start reading this biography here. I'm gonna do some tabbing too. I really do not like writing in my books. I know a lot of people say you should write your books if you want to kind of like annotate or like, you know, get some quotes and stuff, but I really do not like writing in my books. So I'm hoping tabbing will help me out quite a bit. So when I need to reference a book, I know exactly where to go to, and hopefully it just doesn't like damage the book anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start reading this book here. Alright, so I only read about 14 pages of the book, to be honest, and probably like 2 or 3 of those pages were blank pages. I'm not familiar with French history, so there was sort of a lot of names I was unfamiliar with, but it started off with a prologue, which is interesting. I'm not used to that when it comes to a non-fiction or biography, but it started with the death of Henry II of France, which was pretty gruesome, to be honest. He took like a splintered piece of a lance to the eye, and about a few days later he died. So it was pretty gruesome. Like I said, it sort of reminded me of like Robert Baratheon, Game of Thrones, the way he died. It kind of set off like a chain reaction that started off the whole Game of Thrones like war, and pretty much how this kind of started off was because of his death and all, like because basically what it seemed like the book was, what the book had kind of alluded to, was the king's death. Basically what this basically what the book was kind of entailing was that King Henry's death led to sort of kind of like at least some kind of turmoil with the political powers, because these two brothers, believe they're called I believe they're the Guise brothers. Not sure. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly here. Guys, I think it's pronounced Guise. Guise. Is Francois Guise and Lorenzo Guise. Oh, sorry, Francois Guise and Charles Guise. It seems like those two brothers are gonna fight for like the political power of France against Catherine. One thing I found interesting, that even though Catherine was technically the Queen of France, she sort of had to share the title with the King's mistress. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. Diane de Poitiers. I found in this book that Catherine, she's she's really into like she's very. I am kind of just like. Let me just look. Let's see. Like, for example, Catherine was very superstitious. According to here, it says she dreamt that her husband laid stricken on the ground, his face covered in blood, and then also an astrologer had believed. I'm just gonna read to you here. In 1952, Luca Guerrico, the Italian astrologer of the Medici family, had warned Henry that he must take particular care around his 40th year to avoid all single combat in close space, lest he risk a wound that could blind him or even kill him. And then it goes on to actually quote like a quatrain from Nostradamus, the famous seer, and then who thought they could refer that to Henry II. And usually I don't see things like that. I usually don't see things that are like that in like kind of like history textbooks or anything. They usually go over kind of important points, but then there's also, they don't really mention like some of the personal stuff, which I feel like would kind of make history a little more interesting in a way here. Like I know you know probably a few people who are very superstitious and stuff, or at least in one part of their life. Like for me, I'm superstitious when it comes to sports. And then yeah, so I think stuff like that makes sort of these historical figures more human, if that makes sense. Sometimes I like to put those attributes into my characters. There's times where I do kind of forget like how to make some of my characters feel more realistic. And it's stuff like kind of being superstitious, having their favorite food, or people that they dislike, or for like whatever reason. It makes them kind of feel more human instead of just kind of like just people on paper, if that makes sense. Again, yeah, so sorry guys if I'm kind of rambling right here. Like my brain's kind of toasted from reading that. I did find it interesting. Like I said before, I'm not familiar with French history, specifically French medieval history, and so there's a lot of names I just wasn't familiar with, so probably would have to look them up more in the future, as I probably even while I'm continue to read this book here. Like I said, I'm really kind of interested in like historical women, like set in medieval ancient times. The reason is that just because it's very different from today's age, where even though there's like still some gender equalities, it's a lot further back then as compared to today. The social and political aspects are totally different from today, so definitely seeing how they kind of maneuver through that, or how are they affected by that, I kind of feel like it's very interesting for me there. Hopefully those kind of figures kind of inspire some maybe a lot of my female characters, but I hope that it doesn't make all my female characters kind of the same. I don't. I want to have like a different like variety of characters, male and female, and I would like my readers to easily tell them apart. Besides their like physical features, stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like kind of rambling on right now. My brain's a little bit fried, totally fried actually, and I see that I'm low on battery right now. So I'm gonna end it here today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, well, or great rest of your week, whatever day you watch this. And until next time, take care, everybody. Happy writing.